All right, crew, let me just pull up the Facebook live stream and get this all set up here. But obviously we are in a weather impact alert today, and we do have the potential for some form of winter weather in some portions in our area tomorrow. So that's what we're going to be diving into here. It has a little bit to do with what's going on outside at the moment. So I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about where things stand right now and how that plays into the forecast for this weekend. So I'm all pulled up here, which means I can address some questions if there are any later. But I want to say first and foremost, kind of as we get this whole extended forecast kicked off, I know that we are within that 24-hour time frame now, where tomorrow, Sunday morning, is that potential for any sort of winter weather that we could have in the area. I know it can be frustrating when we still talk about uncertainty in the forecast, especially when we're this close out. So what I'm going to do as we kind of take a look at the extended forecast is I'm going to give you my best, most educated opinion about what I think is going to happen tomorrow morning, with the caveat that there unfortunately is still some variability in the model runs. There is still a little bit of uncertainty, just mainly into who in our area could see this potential winter weather. But I promise you, I really am going to give you my best thoughts on this and really my opinion over the whole thing. So I just wanted to kind of say that first and foremost, and let's jump into it. Like I said, it starts with kind of where we stand right now. So let me take these graphics full so that we can talk about the sky cams, where things sit at the moment, and kind of look at, again, how this plays into the forecast for the weekend. So we've got cloudy skies across the area right now. We got little peaks of sunshine here and there, but it's kind of been a little bit of a weirder start to the day than the last couple of days. Obviously, we've had the cloud cover. We've also had some warmer numbers right there, and making it's 54 degrees. And you can see comparably, when we look across like the eastern half of the United States, we're sitting a little bit warmer than some of these northern areas, but you can see some of that cooler air is starting to make its way towards us. A cold front is on the way to the area, and it's kind of pushing across our region right now. You can see that dividing line down there in South Georgia, just south of Vidalia. That's where that front is sitting at the moment. But we have this kind of secondary reinforcing front that's going to be coming behind it. That is going to be a driver for our potential for winter weather early tomorrow morning. So our temperatures this morning, yes, they are actually a little bit warmer than this time yesterday. In fact, in some areas, they're warmer than the high temperature from yesterday. But this is not going to be the case as we head into tomorrow morning. So if you're kind of outside this morning thinking, whoa, it's really warm out here, how in the world are we talking about potential winter weather chances? These are not the temperatures that we're going to have as we head into the late night hours and the overnight hours tonight. So that's obviously kind of the temperature front there, but the cold front itself has also brought us some rain chances throughout the morning hours here. Now, most of it has actually kind of fizzled out from our area now, but you can see as we kind of played this back to early this morning, we had some scattered showers mainly in our northwestern counties, and this line has kind of fizzled and broken apart as it's pushed across our area. So through the rest of the day today, there is the potential for a couple of scattered showers. It really starts to kick in as we head into the later night hours tonight. So that's kind of the big story for today. If we kind of see where the radar stands right now, there's actually not a ton out there, maybe a teeny tiny little blip down there in Pulaski County. Other than that, there's not a ton going on at the moment. There will be a chance for one or two light scattered showers throughout today, but for the most part, it's probably just going to be mostly cloudy, and you'll just kind of have to deal with the look that is out there right now. Temperatures today, like I said, are going to be too warm. But as we go into the overnight hours tonight, that's when we're going to see a big temperature drop. We'll see a moisture increase. And then, of course, that's when we start talking about potential winter weather. So we are in a weather impact alert for tomorrow morning. It is a chance for wintry mix to maybe a couple of light snow showers in certain portions of our area. Now, it is really only the Sunday morning time frame. As we head into Sunday afternoon, the temperatures are going to start to climb above freezing, and we will no longer have the potential to support any sort of winter weather. Right now, it looks like the best chances continue to remain to the south and the southeast, but there has been some shifts in the models this afternoon that kind of could give a different possibility to some other areas as well. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to walk you through just about every single model so that you can kind of see all of the different possibilities. But like I promised, I'm going to give you my best opinion about what I kind of think is going to take place tomorrow morning. So we're going to walk through all the possibilities first, and then I'm going to kind of lay out and detail what my thinking is on this whole thing. So we'll start with the graph model. This is the one that you see us use the most often. This is kind of our trusted source when it comes to big weather events. And so we'll play this forward to kind of see what the thinking is here. Like I said, a couple scattered showers today. Late night tonight, we'll see these scattered showers start to become a bit more widespread. So I know the rain is probably not a lot of people's focus, but this overnight rain chance is actually going to be important to the forecast in the morning. So overnight tonight, we start to see these showers become a lot more widespread. Now watch as we go from late night tonight to early Sunday morning. We'll start to see a few of these areas try to transition over into a wintry mix or even a couple of light snow showers as well. So that kind of happens again in the early morning hours here, once the temperature gets cold enough to try to transition these showers into something more of a wintry precip, and then it kind of sticks with us through the early morning hours Sunday into the mid to late morning, all the way up until about noon on Sunday, and then that whole system starts to leave our area and we stay clear for the rest of the day on Sunday. So before I take it over to another model, I'm going to talk a little bit about what's going on here that's a little bit different from the last couple of model runs. So you can see here on this specific graph run, this dividing line between a whole bunch of rain and some mixed precip and potentially some light snow showers happens way up here in Jasper, Monroe, and Upson counties. Now, this is different from how the graph model has been trending over the last couple of model runs. If you can remember, if you've been in tune with the forecast, that dividing line has previously been way down to the south. In fact, more in this area, kind of where I just drew that line. So that's a pretty big difference, especially for just 24 hours out. In fact, the model run that I had this morning when I came into work still had that dividing line down where I just drew that line. So we're still talking about some really kind of big variability for our area at the moment. If things trend back down here in the southeast, then this will be the area that's concentrated with some wintry precip, and the rest of our area actually will probably stay mainly dry after we head into the early morning hours. Obviously, if it goes this way, this is going to be a much different story for our area. So that is just me telling you that's kind of where the variability is at right now. But again, like I said, I'm going to kind of show you all the models and then we'll talk about what the possibility is across the whole area. So that is the graph model. We'll take it over to the HERS, the high resolution model. Another one that we use a lot and another one that we trust a lot. So these are kind of the two big ones that we'll be paying attention to and kind of basing our forecast off here. Late night, those showers start to become more widespread. Early Sunday morning, those showers, when the temperatures drop low enough, start to transition over into a wintry mix and maybe a light snow shower situation. But notice, even on this HER model, that line, that dividing line, is a little bit further back, and you know, there's kind of all kinds of mixed precip in here. It doesn't necessarily look quite as stark like a dividing line between the rain and the snow. It's all kind of mixed together, which means that this could be a situation where we're talking about more of just, you know, sleet, freezing rain, mixed precip type of thing, and maybe some flurries or light snow showers down in the southeast. And then the same situation, the one thing that is basically 100% certain is the timing of this thing. By the time we get into the afternoon, this will be moving out and we won't really have to deal with it for the rest of the day. In fact, the temperatures will be above freezing and anything that fell that morning will be melting. So that's the HER model. Again, we'll walk through the remaining models here. This is the NAM, another short range model, higher resolution. We'll take it through that early morning time frame. And this is kind of a similar thinking to the HER here, but notice it does kind of start up here in North Georgia. Now again, this is really different from what the NAM model was thinking a while ago. Similar to the graph model, the NAM model had that dividing line way down here in our southeastern counties where it now exists way up there in our northeastern counties. So still some stark variability going on with the NAM model as well, but it's the same kind of thing, just some mixed precip that moves through in the early morning and pushes out by the time we hit Sunday afternoon. We're almost there, I promise. Two more models to look at. These are lower resolution, long range models. Just kind of throw these in there. Obviously, we take higher stake in what the short range models are talking about because they're higher resolution at this stage, but it's always just kind of good to see what the long range models are doing as well. And same kind of thing, they've drawn that line up there a little bit further toward the north as opposed to down in the south. So that's playing that one through. And the Euro, believe it or not, does something quite similar. So plays that out into the afternoon and then out by the afternoon. So really quickly, before I get any further into what I'm saying, obviously those models right there that I just showed you have good agreement with each other right now. It's not necessarily that there's big variability between the different models. Each run, they all kind of have the same thinking, but they drastically change how far south versus how far north that system ends up. And the reason being, in fact, let me just put this back. The reason is when we look at this low pressure system, this is a graphic that meteorologist David Guerrero made, and it's a fantastic explainer for what's going on here. This low pressure system that's down here in the Gulf is the thing that is swinging the moisture into our area. So our thinking has originally been this kind of number 2 scenario. This low pressure system slings the moisture just to the south of us. It gives us just enough moisture to see some of those mixed precip, light snow showers in our southeastern counties. The models this morning have been trending towards this number 3 chance, that this swings a little bit further north and it brings more of our area that mixed precip or light snow shower chance. I think number 1 is starting to look less and less likely. It does look like we're at least going to see something in kind of central Georgia, but how far to the south or the north, 2 or 3, which one are we sitting between right now? So where things stand at the moment, the National Weather Service has put us in a winter weather advisory. So what this means is kind of just a heads up that every county that's outlined here in purple has the potential to have some sort of wintry precip from 3 a.m. tomorrow to noon tomorrow. So National Weather Service is still kind of in the same thinking. Like, it's fair game for everybody, but it may be better chances for counties that are down in the southeast. And that's kind of where my thinking is at this time. I'll say there's pretty low confidence in totals, and then how far north that those light snow showers are actually going to travel. I still feel that there's higher confidence in impacts that are further down to the south and the southeast central Georgia. In fact, if you were even watching Ben last night, a lot of those models still had things way down in the southeast. So I think that our southeastern counties, I'm talking places like Telfair, Wheeler, Montgomery, southern Dodge, parts of Wilcox, maybe parts of Truitland and southern Lawrence County, those areas are kind of sitting in higher confidence that they're going to see at least some sort of mixed precip. The areas with lower confidence is basically the rest of central Georgia, where it's how far north is that system really going to sit? Is everybody going to see some sort of mixed precip, or is it really just going to be down there in South Georgia? Now, the impact here is pretty clear cut. We'd be talking about some wintry mix. That means anything from sleet to freezing rain to a couple of light snow showers are going to be falling in the morning. So if you have plans to be out on the roads, obviously that's going to make things a little bit difficult in the morning. Silver lining though, like I said, by the time we climb into the afternoon, everything moves out and the temperatures will be climbing above average for this time of year. So these are kind of my things that I want to keep in mind with the forecast. No matter what, unfortunately, for those who love snow, this is not going to be a situation like last year. First and foremost, because all night long, like you saw in all the models there, we're going to be having rounds of rainfall. So the ground when we wake up in the morning is already going to be really wet, and it's really hard for anything that falls to stick to wet ground. So we're not really talking about, even if there are areas that do happen to see some real snow, we're not talking about something that accumulates to much. And then again, kind of the main focal point of what I've been trying to reiterate is that temperatures are above freezing by the afternoon. So we're already sitting a whole lot warmer by the time we climb into the afternoon, and we're not really talking about anything that fell sticking around for the rest of the day. So again, my thinking is kind of that our southeastern counties are sitting more in a higher potential to see something. Now this, unfortunately, because I was really hoping that I could use this to illustrate my thinking, but this is now updated with the new graph model. I decided not to go with potential totals because I do think that this model is really overshooting the amount that we're going to see. It was kind of had this whole thing shaded a bit further to the south earlier this morning. So that lighter blue that you're seeing was over in this area here, and then the darker blue that you're seeing was more up in this area. I don't think that, sorry, let me just erase. That's not really a clear way to say what I just said. But again, I think that this is kind of where higher confidence sits, is down here in the south, that they'll potentially see some sort of mixed precip. Up here in our northern counties, this is where it's kind of still a big question mark. Obviously, there's a potential, but it has a lot to do with how this low pressure system is actually going to end up swinging. So, okay, if this graphic could load, yeah. So this is still, unfortunately, I know it's frustrating, even 24 hours out, this is still the variability that we have in the forecast. You know, I do think that we're talking about some sort of potential winter weather situation in the morning, but how much of the area is actually going to be included in that is still the big question mark. That is why I really want to emphasize kind of the bullet points that I've already showed you. I really think that the important things that we need to note is just that in the morning time, the road conditions in areas that are still dealing with any sort of mixed precip, whether that be snow, whether that be freezing rain, sleet, anything like that, it's going to be difficult to travel on the roads during that time frame. And then as we hit the afternoon, temperatures are above freezing and all of that will be gone. So that's kind of the big story for the entire area. That's something that we can say for just about everybody. Unfortunately, which I just hate to have a little bit of uncertainty, that's what still exists. I am seeing some questions about Monday morning, and that is a good point. We probably will have to be talking about that tomorrow. Monday morning, the temperatures will be back down below freezing. So if we do have remaining puddles from rainfall itself, or even from some of that mixed precip, Monday morning we are talking about potentially areas that may have a little bit of black ice. So I do think that's an important time frame to pay attention to. I'll show you the temperatures here for Monday morning. Obviously, as we go through today, it's still kind of warm, but we track this out to tonight. Temperatures are near freezing, pretty close enough for us to support something. Then we're above freezing by Sunday afternoon. But like I see all the questions about, as we head into early Monday morning, we will be near or even potentially below freezing in a couple of spots. So Monday morning will be kind of a time frame to pay attention on the roads, watching for areas that might be slick. I'm hoping that we can get enough sunshine tomorrow to hopefully evaporate a good bit of what ends up falling on Sunday morning, but definitely want to be paying attention to the roads early Monday morning. Now you can see the temperatures here with the graph model say that they're going to be in the 30s. I actually anticipate us to be a little bit cooler than that. So we're definitely going to have air that could support refreezing of certain areas. That doesn't necessarily mean don't be on the roads at all. I don't think we're going to have a total iced out situation. You know, again, this is nothing like last year, but Monday morning certainly is still going to be a time to at least exercise caution being out on the roads, because I do think there could be some areas of black ice, especially if you have to drive on bridges or overpasses. Those would kind of be the areas of concern for Monday morning. Luckily, again, similar to Sunday, Monday afternoon will be above freezing again. So hopefully by Monday afternoon, we'll actually get enough sunshine to evaporate any of that remaining moisture. And then it really shouldn't be much of a problem heading into Tuesday afternoon. Yes, the temperatures will still be near or below freezing, but by the time we hit Tuesday afternoon, or Tuesday morning, excuse me, I think we'll have had enough sunshine on Monday to kind of get rid of any remaining moisture. So that's kind of where things stand with the forecaster right now. This is going to be a big, what we call a nowcasting situation, where we're in the event and we've got to kind of spew out information, give updates as things are unfolding. We'll have a lot more answers as we go late night tonight, start to see where that excess of rain sits up. And then obviously really early tomorrow morning, we'll start to see which areas transition over into some sort of mixed precip. I definitely think, especially with the winter storm or the winter weather advisory, that there's just enough of an indication that we should be paying attention early tomorrow morning. I know it's frustrating to not be able to give certain counties an exact yes or no of who exactly is going to see what, but there's enough of a heads up out there to say, yeah, we'll be paying attention to this through tomorrow morning, and luckily it's something that will be gone by the time we head into the afternoon. So that is the situation for tomorrow. We're going to be getting constant updates as we go throughout the rest of today. So me and meteorologist David Guerrero are in all day long. He will be back in just 4 short hours for another live update, or at 4 p.m. this afternoon. So at 4, not in 4 hours. Both on 13 WMAZ Plus and then here on socials as well. And then of course he'll be updating all evening long throughout the evening shows. And then as we head into this early Sunday morning event, I will be back and we will just be doing kind of around the clock updates. So the best advice that I can give is just stay up to date with the forecast. And of course, we are going to stay up to date, bringing you the latest information with everything that we have here. So we'll be on the lookout. And of course, thank you so much for kind of checking in with us and staying in tune with us and just giving us grace during this, truthfully, what has been a very difficult forecast over the last couple of days. So I'm going to kind of leave this graphic up just as I come down to reiterate the points that stand at the moment. And again, we will be back with more updates as we go throughout the rest of the day. So thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you later.